Some backstory behind my own self-published book on today's ThinkShare. Hello humans, welcome to ThinkShare. My name is Zach, here to bring something I've been thinking about, sharing about, talking about, listening to, reading about that doesn't belong in math class to make you the goodest version of yourself. Back in 2016, I wrote Ideas Over Coffee. It's a self-published book, didn't get a publisher. And recently I was invited to be a part of a local panelist group in southeastern Massachusetts. And these were some of my opening remarks. I hope you enjoy. 35 minutes. Let's all just stand up and shake it up for a second. I invite you all to try it. Anyone know how to floss? Give that a shot. So, here's my first question for you. Feel free to keep standing if you want. How many people have a black mirror with them?
A black mirror?
Black mirror. Yeah, everybody.
Yeah.
So my first question for you is, for those of you that have those, what's one of the main problems that's caused in the world because of them? Feel free to shout out what you think. What are the problems? No one's communicating. What else?
That's right.
Let's see.
Dangerous driving.
Dangerous
Yes.
driving.
Car accidents.
No conversations.
No conversations. So one of the things that back in about 2013, I think I really discovered this for myself. In 2012, I got my first smartphone, and I realized that I was not having the kind of quality communication that I wanted to have with the people around me. Another really interesting thing was I realized 2007, I think I got Facebook, and I realized for the most part, I was just a consumer of it. I'd go on Facebook, I'd be on there for hours, creeping on all my friends or the girls that I wanted to date, trying to learn more about them, and I was just a consumer of content. It wasn't necessarily that I was creating content and entertaining people, but instead I was just consuming. And I think a lot of people that have smartphones today, that's kind of what they do. In 2013, I took a course. I started I'm not a reader, so I'm a math teacher, and I honestly, the beginning of this book was just meant to be an audiobook. And then as I was writing the script for the audiobook, it just kind of turned into like a regular book. And as I was learning and gaining more from these books, I realized that I really liked the experience and the feeling of becoming a bigger, more capable person than I thought I was. And to do that, oftentimes we got to create. I'm sure you guys will have that experience where you almost don't even feel like a writer. I don't know if maybe you guys haven't had this feeling, but you know, there are moments where I feel almost fraudulent, like I'm not a writer. I mean, I have this book thing, but I wouldn't call myself an author, I wouldn't call myself a writer. So I think as we go to create more things and we add to, instead of just watching on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, we start making things. So one of the things I really love to sort of challenge and inspire people to do through the book and through my YouTube channel is to have people be inspired enough to improve themselves, one, and two, try to create rather than just consume. I mean, as Americans, we kind of see that we probably consume more than really anyone else on the planet. And I challenge my students every day to try to create rather than consume. And one of the things about this book that's probably a bit strange compared to most of the books you've seen is they're like two to three, I think the longest chapter is 7 pages. And so I have ADHD, and one of the things that I obviously have time doing is paying attention to things. I think our generation is sort of getting to the point where, you guys know what Vines are, right? Vines are those like 7-second clips that tell like an entire story, get you laughing. If you look on YouTube tonight, go Vine compilations, and you're gonna find these 7-second videos, and it's 15 minutes straight of 7-second videos. And so our whole generation is sort of growing up in this point where it's like, we want to be entertained ASAP.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and
Instant gratification.
that's really challenging, especially when we want to try to communicate with the people around us and have loving relationships. So one of the things I wanted to do with this book, actually an epiphany I had one day was I had a bunch of these ideas and they just were not coming together the way I thought a book should go. And it was one day I saw my cousin wrote a poetry book, and it said table of contents, and it said, this has no table of contents because it is open like so it had no structure to it. And I realized I didn't actually have to have structure to put words on a page. So that's sort of what it is. If you look in it, it's about 2 to 7 pages. The idea is you read a small section and then you talk about it with somebody. It's meant to sit on a coffee table and be there to inspire through short snippets of reading, kind of like the Vines and the Instagrams and the Facebook posts out there, and then for you to share that with the person next to you. So I don't necessarily want people to read my book from cover to cover. I want them to read it over a year and share an idea every day. Most of these, there's 104 ideas in it. Most of them come from something that I've been inspired to do and have turned into a great conversation over coffee. So it's called Ideas Over Coffee. These are all the things that I've had the experience of just, those conversations where you're sitting over coffee and it's like, 5 hours have gone by. This is a pretty good conversation. That was like kind of how I met my first unofficial date with my wife. Was we looked down at our watches. It was like 4 hours later, and we realized we'd still been talking this whole time. We're like, something's right here. And I think if we had that experience with all the people in our lives, we would have really full relationships that I think all of us know we want, but at the same time we have a hard time stepping outside of our comfort zone to do every day. I think the last thing I'll say is just so as a math teacher, I think one of the challenges of being a math teacher is, one, the phones. You have to either tell them to get off their phones or you have to inspire them off their phones, which is sometimes near impossible. So sometimes instead I inspire them while they're on their phone. So I have a daily YouTube channel. I create a piece of content every day. Recently I've been doing a lot of live streaming, so you can catch me 8, 9 o'clock at night and I'll talk for half an hour about something that happened to me today. I think one of the really key ideas that's sort of in a lot of the chapters is the idea of mindfulness. And that's sort of acknowledging your feelings, and how you feel in a moment is not who you are. Your thoughts are not you. I remember judging myself at one point when I was a kid that I was having these really angry thoughts towards somebody. I was like, whoa, brain, you're going crazy, like cut that out. Like, I don't like this person. I think when we're able to acknowledge that we are not our thoughts, then we can get outside of that and we can stop judging ourselves and we can acknowledge where reality is. It's not in our heads. So every day I'm sharing with my students one sort of what some of the battles I've won through mindfulness are. And it could be some student making a comment that I really don't like, and then I have to stop judging myself for the next half an hour by just trying to acknowledge these are emotions, these are feelings in your body. That doesn't make it reality. I was going to say something else. I don't remember what it was. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Nora, thank you so much for having us. So it's just a little pitch that I gave to the group of maybe 20 or 30 people that were there. This is the book. It's available in the links in the description below. And I also wanted to share with you one of my other friends. So I did a TED Talk last year, or a TEDx talk, a couple of younger people. So I was 26 at the time, and I was the oldest one on the stage. One of the people that also spoke was Gabrielle Landry. She's a Massachusetts student. After speaking and meeting her, we talked about what it takes to become an author, and I had a discussion with her about it, similar to some of the other things that we talked on the panel. And in about 6 months, we produced this. This is her own poetry book that she created through Create Space, similar to me, self-published. And just a really great work of art, and I enjoyed going through her poems sometimes. So I'm going to leave a link to this as well in the description below. I'll be talking more about this, and I actually have an interview with her as one of the authors that I've worked with. So if you're interested in receiving coaching from me on having your book done and created and existing out in the world for free, I would love to help you through that journey as well. So let me know if you're interested. You can email me at thethinkshare@gmail.com. If you like this, give it a like. If you know an author out there that is interested in making their work happen, that you know could take a nice kick in the pants to get it started, get them in contact with me. I'm really interested in making other people get these things knocked off their bucket list and become authors, because it's getting easier and easier by the day. Thank you for watching. Stay weird, humans. Yoink!